Hey there everyone. So in the last time in One Piece, we saw Ginny messing with the Navy's information network worked, and because of that, the most powerful pirate group of that era, the Rocks Pirates, showed up at God Valley Island. Even Roger appeared there, and to capture him Garp also came, because the prize Celestial Dragons had put for winning their little human hunt was 2 devil fruits. Somehow, Ivankov and Ginny knew about this, and what their powers were. First was the dragon fruit that Kaido uses in the future, and second was the pawpaw fruit that could send people hundreds of kilometers away, taking the chance in this ruckus. Ivankov and Kuma managed to get those 2 fruits, but sadly, because of Big Mom, they lost that dragon fruit. But anyways, a big question comes up: why did Saturn let Kuma go? Well, we will find out answers in the future, but for now, Kuma returns to his home in South Blue, but Ivankov decided to enjoy his freedom, and sets off. Although Ginny stayed with Kuma to live her life with him there, and now, several years have passed, and Kuma used his powers to repair old Geezer's back pain in his church. They used to visit the church from when his father was there, and following in those footsteps, Kuma has also become a pastor. The old folks asked Kuma to do it on weekdays too. But Ginny got angry at them, scolding them for using Kuma's powers for free. But none of the Geezers or old hags felt mad at Ginny. In fact, they were helping Ginny to pair up with Kuma as life partners anyway. They all wanted to pay Kuma for his help. But the new king is asking too much for tribute. And those who failed to pay the tribute, they locked them up in jail. Just recently, an old man died of starvation in jail. He's a puppet of the Celestial Dragon, and that's why they were unable to pay to Kuma. Kuma doesn't mind. Yet as a gesture of gratitude, they prepared a few things for Kuma and Ginny to eat. But at night comes the real pain. Ginny couldn't see it, so she sits outside, because all the pain Kuma took off from those Geezers won't vanish until someone accepts it. Remember what happened to Zoro in Sabaody Island? It's the same. Just imagine Kuma endures that same pain every weekend, yet he smiled because he was able to help others. Because if he doesn't accept it, the pain would gradually return to the people he had healed. Ginny didn't like it, but Kuma told her about the food those old people gave them, which lifted up her mood. Then, over dinner, Kuma thought of going out somewhere if tomorrow is a sunny day, and Ginny was up for it. So the next day, Kuma got the newspaper, and after that Ginny also came out. So he prepared coffee for her and himself. But then, out of the blue, Ginny asked Kuma for marriage like a baddie, and without hesitation, Kuma declined. That's harsh and cold reply ever. But reminds him of his mother and how cruelly she had died, because she was married to a Buccaneer clan member. That's why Kuma changed the topic to the Freedom Fighters article. The leader was Dragon, and Kuma aspired to be in his army and save the world just like Nika, the warrior of liberation. And right then, his friends showed up and Kuma left Ginny hanging right there. They all brought food for Juma, but Ginny was mad, and she threw whatever she got at Kuma for rejecting her like that. But then, as Kuma turned 22, those old folks got arrested as they weren't able to pay the tribute to the king, and now, it was a do-or-die situation. Kuma knew what would happen to them if he lets them go. They'll end up as slaves and would die. He doesn't want to see that ever again, and that's why he retaliated. Kuma took out the soldiers to free the old fogies, but then more showed up, so Kuma made a huge paw to take them all out in a single shot. So when the king heard of this, he was just chilled and decided to cut off the southern part of the island from his domain, because the tribute they pay to the government is decided by the number of people. So once they cut off the southern part where the old folks live, they'll become rich. As for Kuma, he was jailed along with his friends. Apparently, they all stirred up quite a ruckus to free him. So here they are, and the recent order from the king just puts Kuma on edge, because the southern part of the kingdom will be enslaved from now on, but the king works for the Celestial Dragon. So if they retaliate, it means they'll have to fight the world government, and right then the kingdom was attacked by a group of people, and the king got cornered by Ivankov and Dragon. The Sorbet Kingdom was freed from that evil king by the Revolutionary Army, so people were certainly happy. And after a job well done, Ivankov gets down to reunite with Kuma and Ginny. With Dragon himself, Ivankov invited Kuma and Ginny to join the army. That was a once-in-a-lifetime chance Kuma got, so he decided to join the Revolutionary Army. And together they fought the government to liberate the people who wished for freedom from government. Kuma and Ivankov became focusing pillars of the Revolutionary Army. And soon their number rose astronomically. People who were fed up with the world government were joining the revolutionaries at a huge rate. An undying loyalty was formed within Kuma and Ginny for Dragon. Then, after that, Kuma turned 22, and he once again got back to South Blue after a mission. Back at his home, where he was greeted by those old fogies again, but after 14 years in a certain kingdom, Ginny was leading a battalion. And she was happy she would be reunited with Kuma after so long, but fate took a drastic turn as Ginny got kidnapped there, alright? So I don't want to give any spoilers. But watch the next episode only if you are not weak-hearted, because you'll end up depressed if you watch the next episode. So right now, Episode 1131 ends, so stay tuned to watch another episode of One Piece, and for that, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.